Jack Jill here.
Hi.
Welcome to the Jack Jill Show. I'm Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting this week, still from sunny Southern California, where nobody seems to talk about the inevitable earthquake. Although I just read an article about that, actually. I don't know. It was really kind of funny because it was all about this woman that just did a talk recently that really letting us know that you guys we're like 100 years overdue from something really massive. And it was funny because she was trying to educate everybody, and one of the people in the article, piped in that what we all do is we all stock up on supplies like water, but then we use them all, which is true. We're even as guilty. Like, we'll buy these extra cases of water, and then we drink them all down to nothing.
I know.
And then we go buy a bunch, and then we drink them all down to nothing.
Right.
So we're really never stocked up, fully stocked up.
There's
and
a
ready.
boat solution for this.
Yeah, but is there a ton of water on the boat?
Yes, there is.
Oh, I did not know that. But I got to make it to the boat. That's the only thing. So if I get to the boat, if I'm at home, heaven forbid.
We'll be okay.
Okay.
But everybody, I think it's just funny because you watch on the news, it's like, oh man, there's a really bad earthquake in Peru, and everybody sits around and says, oh, it's not going to happen.
That's too bad. Yeah, we all say,
I know,
oh, wow,
terrible.
look what happened to them.
It's terrible.
Totally. I was watching a thing the other night, too, on social media here in Palos Verdes, and it was showing right by Terranea, this big resort, and it showed the last however many years how the land has eroded, and this cliff, it was like all these photos from 100 years ago and 50 years ago, and how the cliffs have changed, and how much less there is.
Smart, Joe.
Thank you.
We look into stuff.
From stuff that fell off into the water.
It's nice to talk to you. This is the only time we talk to each other.
So you know what?
On this show.
Even though we might be 3 doors from the beach, in 50 years, we will be front and center.
That's exactly true.
Exactly. That's why we live here.
Riverside might be, if this earthquake happens, that might be
That might be front and center. That's true. We're going to be like Catalina out there.
This show is supposed to be entertaining, but also about real estate investment.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry. We have something to talk about? I thought that was the show.
Today, Jill and I talk about less deals, but more money per deal. Anybody can understand that, right?
Oh, we all want this.
Before we get into that topic, let's take a question, a quite lengthy question, but worth it, I promise, posted by one of our members on the jackjill.com online community. It's free.
Okay, now, before I start this one, I have to preface this and ask you, Jack, can I get through the whole thing? Will you let me get through the whole thing?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Sure.
All right. So Greg asks, I've sold the free prop. Oh, this is cool. So once upon a time, we used to give away, I'd have promotions, and we've been talking about doing this again, and we might do this with some other things we have coming up, where now and then I'd acquire a lot of property, what just happens. And there's times that I've given some away.
Here's an example. Once in a while, someone calls us and they say, Jack Jill, would you guys, we're in your group or whatever. They find out us on the internet. We have 50 properties. Can you just take them, please? Just take them. I'm settling my dad's estate, and we don't want to do the paperwork. Or can you send us $1,000 and I'll. So that's
right.
When that happens.
Or it's just a smoking deal.
We give away a lot of the property to our members and to people for signing up.
Exactly. I haven't done it in a while, but so that's what this is about. So he said he sold the free property of the program. I made a few $100, and now I found, negotiated, and sold my first deal end to end. Awesome. Or soup to nuts, if you prefer.
Apparently Jill is in a vacuum and
I have to
never heard the phrase.
Throw that in for Kyria and myself. So anyway, she's going to love that. So Greg says, I sent out one mailer to a county in Nevada offering $100 an acre. Didn't get a single bite until afterwards found out $1,000 an acre would have been a better offer price. Lesson learned. Hate mail did overflow, though. LOL.
Got that out of the way.
Yep. Okay, so now we send out our second mailer to a county. See, that, by the way, this is classic stuff.
This is how it works.
Totally. Greg tested it, made a mistake, picked himself up, figured it out, moved on, won't do that again.
Hallelujah.
Yep. So now on the second mailer to a county in Colorado, found a buyer who agreed to sell me 10 acres at $13,000. I offered 9. The comps were $45,000 to $60,000. And I looked at the records and found out that they paid $12,000 in 1997 to buy the property. So I figured it was a low risk. Good. Wasn't sure about the access. There's a physical private road, but not legal access. So I did about a half hour with Jack. Totally worth it. And he said I should at least double my money.
Greg means
awesome.
he did a deal review.
Right. With you.
And I wonder what I said.
Like a consulting call with Jack. And this is one of the cool things too. We do this. So I finally bought it.
We are reachable.
I paid $13,438 all in with closing costs. Didn't get title insurance. Sounds like he didn't need it, which is totally cool. Did his homework. Listed it for $53,000, which was the lower end of the market. Most of the listed parcels were $45,000 and up to $75,000. It took about a month to sell, but a buyer agreed to pay $50,000, but wanted to do more research. Came back and said there's no way we'd pay more than $25,000 for it. Said we do $32,500 with financing at 0% interest and no prepay penalty. This is she. She said she would likely pay it off sooner rather than later, and she agreed immediately. I could have probably gotten her to $38,000 or $39,000, but I'd rather sell it and then just find new deals than lose this most serious buyer. Got it. So he said, he's kind of a recap here. So $13,500 to buy the property, a $32,500 sale price, $7,500 down, and $1,000 a month for 25 months at 0% interest. This is going great.
This is beautiful.
I love it. Once she sent me the signed purchase contract, I signed it and sent it to her and First American, and she wired the $7,500 to my account. I put the $7,500 as earnest money, not a down payment. I got the money a week ago and auto payments for $1,000 starting on November 1st. Awesome. I can't honestly explain how grateful I am to Jack and Jill for this program. And there's plenty of small deals that aren't included in the package. That's what the forums are for. But not an exaggeration to say this is life-changing. My first deal more than covered the cost of getting my business set up, the whole cash flow from land program, and subsidized my unfortunate mistake in the land dork program too. I'm quoting him, and it's covering my rent and savings of $100 a month for the next 2 years.
Wow!
Plus, gave me enough capital to start doing deals in the process. Thank you, Jack and Jill and Luke, and you guys really have legitimately changed my life. Picking my next counties now, looking for smaller deals. Having one big deal is more stressful than 5 smaller ones and easier to do cash sales. I want to build up the watch list. God bless you, Greg. That's so cool.
Lengthy, but I'll tell you, isn't that just great?
There's a lot of great information in there for everyone, and thank you. And this ties into our show too. So he went for a bigger one, it sounds like. So you can do that, or go for a bunch of smaller ones, flip them, build up your money, then do a mix of both. Whatever you want to do.
I mean, he's going to make $35,000 on his first deal, plus the one that we gave him with signing up a while ago.
Yeah,
truly amazing.
I love it too, and the way he's thinking about it, which is huge. Like, okay, these payments she's making me are paying my rent for the next 2 years. That's awesome.
This is a good time to say we don't need to do this show, but this is why I do it. Personally, and I know for you it's super important too. Mm-hmm. This is why we have these companies. Land Academy, Landpin, offers to owners, Parcel Fact, all of them, so that people can
get these
be
deals
successful
done
and get their, not to have to go through the learning curves that we had to.
Right. And solving these problems. There's a lot of the companies that we start. You're right, Jack. It's not like we're doing it for the competition. There is no solution out there. We're creating these companies.
We're providing the actual tools,
solving these problems.
Right.
It's huge.
I feel proud when we get notes like this.
Me too.
Today's topic: less deals, but more money per deal. Boy, I'll tell you, that couldn't be a more appropriate topic for the question that just happened. Less deals, but more money per deal. This is the meat of the show. You have a couple of choices, and Greg made his choice very clearly. He's mailed out a county for higher higher cost property, but higher margin and higher dollars per deal. So let's run through a couple of very simple math scenarios. You can buy 10 properties for $100,000, $10,000 each, or you can buy one property for $100,000. And let's say you follow along the Jack Jill theory of doubling your money. Those 10 properties, let's say they're relatively close to each other, or maybe not. Let's just say they're in separate states. The 10 properties that you sell and double your money, you sell them for $20,000 each, and at the end you have $200,000. Or you can buy one property and exercise 1/10 of the work and effort. But if you buy it right and sell it really quickly, you're going to end up with $200,000, just like in the original example. But here's the thing. The variable in all this is your time.
That's what.
If you have time to do 10 deals, why not do 10 $100,000 deals and end up with $2 million at the end instead of $200,000?
What I was going to add too is that when you're looking at these markets and these buyers too, I find that I'm going to make my money faster on these $10,000 deals. It's a lot easier for me to find, a bunch of people that are willing to put $20,000 down than people to put $200,000 down. You know what I'm saying, Jack?
Yeah, not in the form of down payment, but as a form of the purchase price.
Right. As I'm just saying that they just have that cash available. So one of my little things is time, not just your time, but transaction time.
Oh, I see.
So
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So you're going to probably double your money faster on a mix of maybe even some smaller properties. It's like, for example, selling a $300,000 house. There's a bigger market out there, a lot of more people that can afford that than selling a $3 million house. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. Am I wrong?
With those exact numbers, you are not wrong.
Okay.
But here's how to hedge this off, and I respect what you're saying, but there's a way to hedge that risk off. If you go to a market and you look at days on market and you do a tremendous amount of research, I think 2 days ago, we talked about pre-mailer research, you're going to smoke all the risk out.
True. So,
this is not necessarily the case with land, but with houses, especially in a higher priced market.
It's true.
The house I would argue it's less risky to buy a $300,000 house for undervalued, relatively undervalued. But if you've done all your research and you're in a 30-day days on market scenario, you are going to sell it before you buy it.
Thank you. I was just playing devil's advocate.
So no, that's good. But would I do that right out of the chute? No, I would not.
But you know what? Here's the thing. So to contribute to what you're saying is you're just working it backwards.
You're working it backwards.
That's it.
Well said.
So you want to so the whole topic is less deals but more money per deal. So you know what? So figure out what those markets are. Maybe it's Manhattan, New York. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's Cleveland.
Maybe
it's a suburb of...
Where are the multiple big deals happening? And figure out what it is.
That's
and
what
then work it backwards. Because you have all the knowledge. You have all the tools. You can be a bird dog for whatever property type. You might be a bird dog for finding those... It's just like we talk about with the Santa Barbara ranches. You're the bird dog of finding $1 million properties, buying them for $1 million because they're worth $4 or $3.5, but you're buying them for $1 million and selling them for $2 or $2.5, and everybody wins.
That's exactly right. So if you do the Santa Barbara ranches is a great example. In Santa Barbara County, California, there's, where Oprah and Michael Jackson used to live. There are a lot of subdivisions where somebody went in a long time ago and subdivided large acreage ranches, and they're very, very expensive. So right now, while we're doing the show, right now, there's a handful of people that want to buy a ranch there, and they have cash, or maybe they don't. Maybe they are going to finance it, which is fine. Our job is to get there first,
right,
and pay several $100,000 less than we're going to sell it to somebody there for. But it's such...
And queue it up.
For us, there's no risk in this.
It's true.
I mean, zero risk, because we know what's going to happen.
It's true.
I mean, barring the earthquake we talked about earlier, which may actually delay the deal, but I don't think it's going to stop it.
It's true.
So I would argue, that's exactly what I wanted to talk about on the show, is I wanted to debate this a little bit, because there's always two ways you can go about it. You can buy property that you're going to put up for sale, or you can buy property that you're going to sell with a high degree of certainty, and I mean like 98%
or it's already
certainty.
sold. Let's back it up even that way. Trevor talked about that. That's what he's doing right now. We just did a show with one of our members. He's meeting and really getting to know these buyers. He's got this certain market area he's working with, and this is stuff anybody can do. Get to really know the buyers. You know what they want, and then go get exactly what they want. You've already sold it.
That's what we do.
And by the way, you don't pull the trigger yet until they sign off on it.
Right.
They've already said, "Yep, we're going to buy it. This is what we're going to pay." And okay, now we're all pulling the trigger. There's no risk.
That's my point. So why? Then now you can, after you have the experience. Trevor also said, and that hasn't aired yet. It will air. Remember Trevor Probant? Mm-hmm. He also said that you got to spend a significant amount of time in the industry and get comfortable with all the terminology. He said that's something that's people, and quite frankly, I think he meant us. We are so experienced that we take a lot of that terminology and the competence for granted.
Yeah.
It's gonna take, you got to get your feet wet, like Greg did in this. He sold the property, free property, and he's got that first deal under his belt.
That's why I talk about my 10, and I love it when I talk to people on the phone and they come back and they go, Jill, I'm going to do what you said, or I'm on number 9. Now I get it.
What's your 10?
I've done my 10. I think do 10 deals all the way start to finish, and I guarantee you're going to feel differently after 10 than you did at 1.
Yep.
By 10 deals, now you really know what you're doing. You understand the transactions. You've got a lot of the kinks out. Now at 10 deals under your belt, now you can start making some different decisions.
Right.
And thank you, Jack.
Well said.
Thank you.
I prefer to do less deals, but make more money per deal. That is not what I did the first 3 or 4 or 5 years of my career.
Yeah.
It was exactly the opposite. Because I felt like back then I was diversifying my risk. It's all risk-based.
See, and I agree with you. I think when you're new, and that's really what I talk to people about. I'm like, I understand you want to come at it like this. You want to buy it for $100,000, sell it for $200,000, and then coast for a month or whatever it is. But especially when you're brand new, you have all your eggs in that one basket. I think that could be a little scary, and because we all know we're going to make some mistakes.
Right. So
that's where I really want people to really think about. Let's just like the example you just shared. Buy 10 at $10,000 each, because what if one of them goes a little sideways? You paid too much. Who knows what? You didn't sell it for what you thought you did. The other 9 are going to carry it. You're going to be just fine.
Those first few deals aren't designed for you to make a tremendous amount of money.
Right.
They're designed for you to get the experience and find out if this is for you.
That's true.
Being a librarian is not for me.
Are you sure?
What's a couple of careers that are just never going to work for you?
That's really funny.
What are a couple?
That's a really good question. What would be an attorney? I don't know. I could argue. Wait a minute. I don't know. Let me think.
I would be a great lawyer. I just couldn't do it. Yeah.
I'd have, with an attorney, I'd have a hard time representing someone that I knew was a bad person. So I think I would not be a good attorney.
I had a problem with this in accounting. I just have trouble with the billable hour concept. All it does is encourage me to spend time doing crap that I know is not necessary.
Oh.
It's just so inefficient.
That's true.
And the whole legal industry is built on inefficiency and silliness.
Yep.
And dragging things out.
I have a career that I would suck at.
Yeah.
School teacher, elementary school
really?
teacher, like little kid.
No
God,
patience.
come on, yeah.
Babysitting.
I could do it for a little bit. Then I'd be like, I'm out.
Yeah,
I'd be like,
I'd last about a week in that.
Yeah, I would want to kill them. I mean, all my kids would be, I'd have them. Oh my gosh, if I was a school teacher, I would have cubes. All my kids would be in cubes so they can't talk to each other.
You know what cracks me up about that, Jill, is that you're the worst one of all.
That's why. Yeah.
You're the class disruptor of all of them.
I absolutely am. You're 100% correct. Yep.
Well, you've done it again. You've wasted another 20 minutes listening to the Jack and Jill Show. Join us tomorrow where we discuss neighborhood-specific pricing.
And we answer your question, if you have one, post it on jackjill.com, our online community.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition. Well done, Jill.
I'm not that bad. You were talking about my experience with poor Mr. Tinsman and moving me to the front of the room, and that didn't work. And he moved me to the back of the room, and that didn't work.
When you're bored, the whole world knows it.
What?
And
I'm bored?
Yep. And or bored or like don't want to be there. And I'll tell you what, I'm not throwing you under the bus here because I'm the same way.
I'm like, did I do this on the show? I'm not bored here. I'm like, uh-oh.
I just mean like, when we're just stuck doing some stuff. And I'm the same way.
I know. Yes.
We made the mistake of, this is almost a year ago now, going to a real estate group meetup full of brand new people.
Oh, yeah.
And I couldn't get out of there fast enough.
Can we go now? Can we go now? Can we go now? That's Jack.
It was silly.
Totally.
I'm all for helping people, but man, there's a point where, here's what happens in the end.
Oh.
So we're available as we know a lot about this topic, this industry, a lot.
Right.
We have 20 years of experience, right? Transaction experience. There's no denying it. There's two types of questions that we get. They can fall into two categories. One, really good questions about real estate transaction. Those are the types of questions that make it to the show.
Right.
And then there's another type of question that has nothing to do with it except nothing to do with what our expertise is and everything to do with the fact that the person who's asking the question is lazy and a non-linear thinker.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately...
I'm okay with a non-linear thinker. I'm just not happy with the lazy part. Please try.
Yeah, try to get it done as a last resort. There's a million other places
you can go. Don't make me do your
go.
homework for you.
A million other places you can find the answer to questions like, where's a certain county
right
in Iowa?
Exactly.
Or how do I, my computer's not working correctly.
Oh my gosh.
And on and on and on.
Right. I can't get this file to download.
That.
Seriously?
All of those.
Seriously.
And so, unfortunately, when you get to be our size and our group, the larger group and things, those types of questions just prevail. We have full-time staff dealing with it, and some of that stuff still gets with us. It sounds like a rant now.
Oh boy, let me cut it off quick.
Yeah.
Share in the fun by subscribing share in the rant by subscribing on iTunes or wherever you're listening. And while you're at it, rate us, please.
We are Jack and Jill. Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.